Hare Krishna everyone, Mila here. For those who are new on my channel, I was born and raised in Macedonia but moved to Switzerland when I was 18. Why I moved to Switzerland is directly linked to me becoming a Hindu and later a Vaishnava. So growing up, I was very sensitive and very inquisitive child. I was constantly asking myself, why was I born? Why do I have to die? Why do I suffer? What is the meaning of life? This bothered me the most. There must be a meaning of my birth. But I never found the answers to these questions. No matter whom I asked, I was never satisfied. Also very sensitive in a sense, like I would literally see a dead sparrow, I would go into mode of depression. One time when I was 6, I saw injured sparrow on the road and I took it home to my mom. She gave me an empty shoebox. I laid it with cotton and then with leaves and I put it gently, the sparrow there. I fed him with breadcrumbs and with water, but unfortunately the sparrow died the next day and really I was grieving. I organized a funeral. Literally, I organized a funeral for that sparrow and we digged a hole with my friends, we buried it inside and we were crying. Later, when I turned around 13, I wrote my first poem and it was about a tree. I was lamenting in that poem, why do people cut trees? So from being oversensitive about injured sparrows to questioning why people cut trees, slowly, gradually, I started questioning why are there slaughterhouses, why are the animals being slaughtered for food. And I had a friend, actually me myself, I was never into meat so much when I was growing up. My mom told me one time when I was 3 or 4, they were planning to go on holidays to Croatia and my father spent the whole morning cleaning the car, and before going for that long journey, he made me eat chicken soup, but I refused. I said, no. I was crying, but yes, eat, you must eat. It's a long journey. I ate the soup by force, and as soon as I entered in the car, I just vomited and I spoiled all his hard work of cleaning the car. So then and there he said, I will never force this child to eat anything she doesn't like. Then when I was 15, we had a New Year celebration here nearby where I live with my school friends and neighbor kids. And that evening, one boy approached me and said, Mila, I'm into India. I'm into meditation, hatha yoga, into Buddhism and vegetarian lifestyle. And believe it or not, as soon as he mentioned the word India, it was like a light bulb went on, like as if I was in a dark place until then, and then pew, the light bulb went on by the mention of the word India. And then and there, deep inside, I felt that this country has something to offer, has answers for my questions. So while he was explaining me everything that he knew about India, we were standing next to the window. So outside was very cold, it was snowing, inside was warm, so the window was foggy, and with my finger I was drawing the map of India while he was speaking, and like I was daydreaming. I was like, India, like that, speaking like in a trance. Few days later, when the shops opened, what I did, I ran to that my favorite bookshop store in the city, and I bought all the books that were there about India. I bought Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads that were in one book, that were translated and was commentary from one American philosopher. And believe me, I read it, but I didn't understand anything, nothing I understood. And then I bought Tagore's poems and short stories. Then gradually also I became into Buddhism. I was meditating Om Mani Padme Hum for hours, thinking that I will attain nirvana just by chanting that mantra. Then I enrolled in Hatha Yoga school. I was going once a week. Then one day I was a little bit early. Actually, I was 1 hour too early for that class, and I decided to go a little bit around and window shop. And then I met one person. Actually, I saw him. He looked very special. He was shaved, very young, and he was holding books. I approached him and asked him if you are a Buddhist and what are you selling. And then he said, no, I'm not a Buddhist, and I'm selling these books about India and about Bhakti Yoga. Then again, I heard again the word India, and I was like like totally happy. And then I bought the book Science of Self-Realization by Srila Prabhupada. And then he gave me an address, and he said, we are meeting here. You come every week, every Sunday. You can like learn a little bit more about it. But because I have never heard about Bhakti Yoga, I asked what it is and if I should take my yoga mat. He saw my yoga mat, you know. He said, no, no, no. He was laughing, just come as you are now. No need of yoga mat. So next Sunday I went, and I never left. I was in total ecstasy to finally meet like-minded people. But then I started facing problems with my father because I was a nerd. I hardly, only on the weekends I would go out. But now I started all of a sudden going, you know, like every evening outside. So I came up with this funny plan. I asked one brahmachari if he can call my house and pretend to be my boyfriend and ask me like, Mila, do you want to come out? And I would be like, yeah, of course. What time? Yeah. And then I would hang up the phone and I would be like, Dad, I'm going to meet this friend of mine. So it worked for 2-3 times. But then he became suspicious because, as I said, really, I never went like that. I never had boyfriends. I never went partying, and these things were not on my list. So one evening he started following me in the car. In his car, he was following the bus I was riding on. And then he figured out that I was going to the Hare Krishnas, and he became very not depressed. He was very angry actually. And he had a talk with me, and he said, no way, you are not doing that. He was thinking that all this vegetarian lifestyle, he was like, okay, that's okay. And the Hatha yoga and into, you know, a little bit interest in India, that's okay, it's not harmful. But when he saw that I am giving my life to Hare Krishnas, he didn't like that. So he gave me an ultimatum. I either become the old Mila following my old lifestyle, even though I was born in Orthodox Christian family. My parents were not very religious. They were going a few times a year into the church, but not too much. But becoming a Hare Krishna was too much for him. So he said, either you become the old Mila, or if you want to follow the Hare Krishnas, you have to leave my house. And I decided for the second, I decided to leave the house. So for these 4 months, actually he gave me 4 months time to think about. In these 4 months, because he saw that I am very much fixed on my path of devotional service, I faced quite some troubles. But the verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma shuchaha. Give up all kinds of religions and just surrender unto me. I will protect you. Do not fear. I promise you, I will protect you. And I had blind faith in that verse, that Krishna will protect me. That's why I was so courageous. Even though I was so young, I had no money, I didn't graduate, I had absolutely nothing. My father was asking me to leave his house, and practically I had nowhere to go. Then there was one lady also from my country who was already living in Zurich. So she said, Mila, don't worry, I will arrange everything for you. So I arranged, this is how I ended up in Switzerland. So I hope this video was helpful for those of you who are beginners in your devotional life and are facing difficulties either by parents or by partners or by husbands. Just hang in there. Krishna is our guide, he is our protector, because he promised that in Bhagavad Gita, and I'm sure you will be successful in your spiritual life. So thank you very much for watching. दिखाने के लिए बहुत धन्यवाद. आपसे अगले हफ्ते मिलता है एक नया वीडियो के साथ. हरे कृष्णा.